Hey guys, it's Heather. I just wanted to do another update for you guys. Sorry, it's been a little bit since I've done one, but it's been crazy, like I say every time. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I have I think 201 subscribers, at least at the time that I'm doing this video, and that is just so awesome. So thank you so much for watching my videos and putting up with my rambling. It really means a lot to me, and I hope that my channel is helping out you guys that are in the nursing programs as well, or considering doing a nursing program at your school. And like I always say, please give me some ideas for videos if y'all want me to talk about something in particular. I really wouldn't mind doing that. Sometimes it's hard to think of stuff on your own to talk about because your program is different than other people's, and you might feel like you didn't have a question about something, but somebody else could have a question about this. So if y'all have anything y'all want me to talk about, do please let me know. And again, thank y'all so much for watching and subscribing to my channel. That is just so awesome. But anyways, today is Sunday and I have school tomorrow. And so I'm about to go have a study group with some of my friends from school, so that'll be awesome. This past week was pretty good. We had clinical simulations this week, which was really interesting. We didn't do clinical simulations last semester. We didn't have, I guess, we didn't have to do as many required clinical hours as we do this semester. So as y'all know, for the first about almost 2 months, we didn't have clinicals at all. We just had class, and we didn't start clinicals until October. But this semester, we don't start going to the hospital until this Wednesday. But for the past 2 weeks, we've been doing clinical hours anyways. The first 2 weeks we did two in-class days where we had lectures over care plans and documentation. And then this past week, we had 2 days where we did clinical simulations in our labs. So we went in and we talked with our teachers. We had little different stations we went to every hour and 15 minutes, and each we had the mannequins hooked up, and they had certain medical issues. Like we had a person who was a post-op, and we had a person who had COPD, we had a person who had diabetes, and we had just a lot of interesting little nursing diagnoses for each patient. We had one that was really interesting. She was a 90-year-old woman, and her nursing diagnosis was and medical, I guess, too, was failure to thrive. So that was really interesting. That's something I feel like I've not really, I didn't know a lot about, and I wouldn't have known how to respond to that, situation. So it was just really interesting. They would give us, we had to go in acting like we were the day nurse, and then our teacher was the night nurse coming off the shift, and they would give us report, and then we had to see, what other kind of information we needed from them and how we would react to whatever situation, to what the situation the patient was in. And I learned a whole lot. It was really interesting. I learned about how, especially for the patient who was failure to thrive, I just assumed that a person who was failure to thrive was maybe a patient who was depressed and just had no will to live. But it was really, my teacher really opened my eyes to that and saying well, this woman, for the example, is 90, and she's got 4 kids, and then all of her kids have 2 or 3 kids themselves, and then her grandkids are even starting to have kids, and so she knows their family is happy and healthy, and she's lived her life, and so she just may be ready for her to go, and doesn't necessarily have anything to do with her being depressed, but she just may be realizing internally that her time is up, and or starting to be up, and but you should still try to encourage that patient to get up out of bed and do things, but that just because they have a failure to thrive doesn't necessarily mean they're depressed and gonna commit suicide or anything like that. It's just when you get to a certain age, and you have some kind of disability or illness, sometimes you just are ready to go. So that was something that was really interesting. We had a lot more stuff going on. We learned a lot about COPD patients because we're starting our airway management lecture tomorrow. We're going to have a respiratory therapist come talk to us, which is really cool. Yeah, we just learned about, how giving them oxygen, and COPD patients live off a lot of CO2, and how to react if a person's, O2 sats went down to 77, or, just certain situations like that, and how, you need to keep their O2 sats up as high as possible, but, you can't give them too much oxygen or they'll lose their drive to breathe on their own, and just all sorts of stuff like that. So it was just a really interesting lecture. I guess it wasn't a lecture, but the lab simulation thing was really helpful, and it was much better than sitting in a classroom for lecture all day. It was nice to move around and be in a situation, and kind of get to actually do stuff on our patients and everything like that. So yeah, it was really great. We had our wound care checkoffs also, and I'm so happy I passed mine. I think I might have said in the previous video, we have a thing for our, if something in our checkoffs is a sterile procedure, they say if you break sterile field and you notice it, that's automatically 10 points off. If you break sterile field again, that's automatically another 10 points off if you notice it. If you break sterile field and you don't say anything, and you don't notice it, you automatically fail. So we had quite a few people, not a lot, more than I've ever heard of anybody failing and any other checkoffs fail this time. So yeah, I'm really glad that I passed. I actually was kind of nervous for mine because it was, you know, our first check off and first time doing sterile technique, and was whole new teachers for this semester. And I ended up having two teachers grade mine. One was one of our lecture teachers, and one of them was a woman who's going to be one of our clinical instructors and one of the lab teachers, but it's her first time, so she had to, you know, see what the checkoffs were all about. So I had two teachers grading me at once. So I'm really glad that I did well. They said the only things that I didn't do, I made a 97. They said the only things I didn't do is I didn't explain the procedure thoroughly enough to the patient. I explained what sterile technique was and that they shouldn't talk or cough or sneeze if they could help it and stuff like that, but I didn't explain enough of, I'm going to take off your dressing, I'm going to clean it. And then I can't remember, I think that was like 2 points. They took off on 1 point for something else, and I can't remember what it was, but I'm very pleased with that. I was really nervous. So our next checkoff is going to be over trach suctioning and just tracheostomy care. But that's not for like, I think another 2 weeks. And then we have our first test, not this coming week, but the week after next. And it's in my skills class. And we only have two or three little modules on the test. So I'm so glad that it's not a whole lot. My other class, my big theory class, is what I'm really nervous about. We're going to have quite a few huge lectures on there. We did our diabetes lecture last week, and it was really interesting, but it's a lot of information, a lot of drugs, and just information in general. So I'm really nervous about that, but other than that, that's about all that's been going on so far. Level 2 is pretty good. I really like my teachers there. They're really helpful, and they're just really nice women, so I'm really excited about that. And we do start our clinicals on Wednesday. We have 2 days of clinicals this semester. We have clinicals on Wednesday and Thursday, so that'll be interesting. That's about all I can think of for at least this video, guys. I might try to do another video sometime this week. Maybe kind of review some of my diabetes and surgery and wound care and airway management stuff, so that maybe it can help y'all guys study and help me study as well. But again, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all have any questions or requests for me, let me know, and I will talk to y'all again soon. Bye.